Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's dates of our lives, March 28, 2025. So we start off with Kate and Philip. So Philip had to, go over to his mommy to really help him out with his life crisis as usual. So she had some news to tell him anyways because she told him that, EJ is out for blood. He's out to attack any one of her sons, and he's the likely target since he lives in Salem. So he's asking Kate for what reason. So she says that she said that EJ blames her for his damage to his relationship with Johnny, right? So anyways, Philip said that he's not afraid of EJ. What he's really afraid of is his life coming to an end because you know Stephanie might just tell Alex the real truth because Xander overheard them and he thought that him and Stephanie were having an affair behind Alex's back. So she said, at least, that's better to believe than, the actual truth about the letter and all that. So he said, it's good for you to say that, but like, what if Stephanie tells Alex? And she's saying, listen, you got to be a lot more optimistic than that. This is your father's legacy. You have a right to it as well. So he's saying that, maybe you can tell Roman now if my life, is going to get plundered. So she said, I love my husband, but I would do anything to protect any one of you guys. And you deserve to also have a piece of your father's legacy. So you need to go out there and do what you have to do. Talk to Stephanie, whatever. So he's like, Stephanie probably told Alex already. So she said, listen, you don't know that for sure. Go out there and go, talk to her, right? So he said, okay, cool. So Sarah is upset with Xander for actually telling Alex, that Philip and Stephanie had an affair behind his back. She was saying that it was not his place to tell, and he said, I didn't really mean to tell him outright. Like, he just happened to overhear me and Philip talking, and I just had to just tell him like he's my family. So she said, I thought we spoke that we weren't going to, we spoke to each other like we're not gonna go through with this, telling nobody this. We were gonna keep it to ourselves. So he said to her that, you said that you want to stay out of it. Like I was not sure, and it just happened to happen, right? So he's saying, look, Alex's family, Alex has been really cool about, stepping down after hearing, he's not Victor's son. And, he and I, we've had, issues in the past, but we're all good, and he was working for me. Like, I have no problems with him. So he deserved to know the truth. And he said, I don't know how I would feel if a significant other deceived me like that. So, of course, Sarah's starting to feel guilty. At some point, she blurts out that I made a mistake. So he said, what kind of mistake you made? So she said, I underestimated you. I doubted you for really putting your family. So he said, you and Victoria, you know that you are the world to me. So she said, not us, but really Philip and Alex, for you to get involved with them and, care for them like that. So he said, look, I'm trying to turn a new leaf. This is what Victor would want. And, I really tried to get, them to see the bigger picture. Alex wanted to, Alex wanted to really punch Philip, and I had to get in the way of it. And Alex had to quit his job and leave. So I want to check on him, see how he's doing. So she said, maybe he and Stephanie need some time to talk it out. And he said, yeah, but I still want to check on him, right? So, anyways, Sarah said that she's going along with him, right? And I just can't really stand Sarah, for God's sakes, man. So, anyways, back to Stephanie and Alex. So, Stephanie ended up telling Alex that she didn't sleep around on him. That was all a lie. So I'm keeping a bigger secret, but I really can't tell it because it's a lot of stakes. So he said, listen, if you found out that I was cheating on you with somebody else and I had a bigger secret, you'd want to know. So she said, you're right. So she ends up telling him everything from the beginning, and he's saying like, how did this go on? Like, why would Sarah keep this to herself and not tell her own husband? So Stephanie said it's more to it than that. Like, she didn't want Xander to get all this power and really do some really irreprehensible things, right? So Alex is saying, like, at this point, shouldn't she trust her husband? And I'm saying the same thing. Like, she even said it earlier with Xander that, she doubted him on how he loves his family. And I'm saying you need to have more trust in your husband. Like, you're the one that married him. You should know this by now who he is, and like give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, you didn't even give him a chance to really show himself. Like, he has grown a lot. He has changed a lot, turned a new leaf, and now, he has every reason to be angry, right? So, anyways, Alex doesn't feel comfortable with keeping the secret. He wanted to tell Xander right away, and he's telling Stephanie, like, me and Xander are cool, like, we're family, like, I can't do this. Like, what Philip done was, fraudulent, right? So Stephanie said there's more to it than that. Like, my career is online, Sarah and Xander's marriage is online. And I'm saying, who cares about Sarah and Xander's marriage? Like, is anything to happen to that? It's Sarah's fault as to why that marriage would have, really gone down under, because she should have just been honest with Xander from the get-go, right? Stephanie told her she should have went to her husband, if they are supposed to have a long lasting thing, trust is very important, and she violated that, right? So, anyways, moving forward. So Marlena gets a visit from an unfamiliar face, and it's Paul. He's also here with Andrew to really help in finding John. And him and Marlena get the chance to talk, and he tells Marlena about how it all started, his journey with knowing John as his father. And it didn't start off all smooth sailing at first, but he ended up getting to know him, and they bonded a lot more closely, and he loves him, and he looks up to him as a role model, right? So Marlena and him also talk about their relationship, how it didn't start off very smooth as well, but he's happy that they are getting along, and they're just hoping that they can find John. It wasn't really much to it. They showed some flashbacks with younger Paul and John with brown hair, because we all know him now as this silver fox, but you know it was really cool, but that was really it, right? So we said Andrew was also in town. So Andrew ended up being the surprise guest that Steve was supposed to meet up with, right? Because remember, Steve said that he was going to meet up with a local who would have information on John's whereabouts. So it turned out to be Andrew, and he's asking what he's doing here. If you're here to deter me and Marlena from finding John, you can forget about it. So he said that my father sent me here to monitor the situation, but I'm also here because Paul is my fiance, and I really want to help him find his father. And even though this is classified information, like it's really a delicate position that I am in, and I really want to help you guys. And Steve was really begging him to share that with him, because they're really desperate to find him. It's more a balance, between family and ISA, but it's really about finding, Paul's father, and Marlena's husband, right? So Andrew definitely caved in at some point and tells him what he needed to hear about where John could have possibly been. So anyways, he was asking Andrew more about it, more about, involving Marlene and Paul into it. So he said, look, they're civilians. Like, we are ISA agents, we know how to handle it. Like, I don't want to risk that, right? So Steve again pulls the whole family thing, and he did say, Andrew, it is your call to make whether or not they will be involved. So after Philip left earlier, Roman came out after, and he noticed that Kate and Philip were having a discussion, and how Philip looked depressed and she looked worried. So she said, no, it's just some relationship problems, nothing to worry about. So he said, anything that I can help with? So he said, no, you have a lot on your plate with your sister's diagnosis, and I'm holding on for it here. And he said that, yeah, Kimberly is okay, she has all the family support. I was going to go out there, but she's all good, right? So anyways, you know she said that they talked about Andrew going out to Estonia to help Steve and Marlena with finding John. So she said, do you feel like they're going to find John? So he said he doesn't really know, and he's just kind of worried. So she said, I'm glad you're at the pub working and not a police officer, because I don't know how I would feel if you're out there and I don't know what happening to you. So I said, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere, right? So that was really it with them. So back to Stephanie and Alex, right? So Philip comes over to talk to Stephanie as his mom instructed him to do. So he comes in, and Alex is definitely furious now that he knows the truth. And Philip is trying to smooth it over and said, look, Alex, I know you're upset with learning about our affair. So I said, just cut the BS. I know what you did. I know that you produced that fraudulent letter, And, how could you really do that to Xander? And, Philip is trying to, defend himself. And he said, isn't it better to just believe that we had an affair and all that? So Alex was ready to pummel him again, right? So he said, anyways, me and Xander are, getting along well. I, actually like working with him. And now we're doing this Demira takeover. Like, it would be a mess if all this came out and then, we would look weak to, our competition. So Alex does not give a crap about that, right? Alex just says, look, Xander deserves to know what's really going on, right? Like, you cheated him out of that. And I know how that is. I was there. Like, I believed what the letter wrote about me being Victor's potential son. And, I run with it. And I know that really messed up my life for a while. So I understand how Xander would feel, right? So, anyways, we'll get back to these people in a bit. So, Andrew and Steve come over to the hotel room where Marlena is, and Paul was there. Paul and Andrew greet. So, Marlena's surprised to see Andrew, and Steve shares some classified information with them because Andrew, I guess, agreed to share that with him, right, and involve Paul and Marlene, all right. So, anyways, Steve tells them that they have some information about a nuclear plant in this location and where John, possibly was on a mission. He went rogue and all that, right? So they possibly might find information about him there. So Marlena wants to come along with the three men, and they're saying no, it's too risky. You're a civilian and all that. It would not be safe. It put everybody at risk, right? So Marlena eventually budged, and she said, okay, she'll wait out here. So they leave. So, anyways, they take down the people that were at the nuclear plant, and then Steve found the file, and I guess there's some information in it leading to John, right? So that was where it cut off with them. So back at the hotel room, Marlena is informing Belle that, she'll update her once she gets more information. She went, to have her tea and all that, and just take care of herself and just wait on them to come back. So when she came back out, there was this surprise character, and this was Orpheus again. So, well, we should have known. Bombs and Orpheus, ring a bell, right? So let's see what he's up to now in this, right? So back to Stephanie and Alex's place, right? So they were there, talking to Philip, and then there's a knock at the door. It's Xander and Sarah. So Philip was saying that to ignore it. So Alex opens the door, let them in, and Alex said, you're just in time to really hear what's going on. So, Xander said, I'm sorry about what happened earlier. I just want to check in on you. Are you good? So he said, yeah, we're good. So he said, I hope you didn't punch at Philip further. And he said, no, we had a very heated discussion. And I just want to let you know that, Stephanie did in fact have the affair with Philip and all that. So, we hashed it out, and that was that, right? So Philip was already breathing, huffing and puffing, thinking that his life was over in that moment. But Alex decides to just do what Stephanie said and keep the secret, because Sarah was also sweating bullets over there too. And I'm saying, boy, Alex, I really was, shouting for the secret to be out. I was saying, go ask, let Xander know right then and there. But I guess we have to settle for a longer period for this thing to be out, and I'm just getting more and more frustrated with that. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys next week. Have an enjoyable weekend.